Well, hi folks, I'll just give you a quick look, show you how things are going on in certain places. So we'll look at greenhouse stroke polytunnel first. They're the leeks I sowed, I think they were in March actually. They're the only thing that hasn't sort of shot on really well, so they will do eventually. They're always quite slow to go, but they're doing alright. And these are my brassicas this year. I've got some greyhound cabbage going and a few cauliflowers, just about, how many have I got there? A dozen of each. And then if you remember last year I had some absolutely atrocious shallots because I grew the Zebron, and I'm hearing that a lot of people are having a lot of problems this year with them not even germinating. Well, what I did this year, I got a different variety of banana shallots called Elista, and as you can see, far healthier. I mean, absolutely almost 100% germination. Some I grew under lights for quite a while, which are like these over here, which you can see are even bigger because they've been grown under the lights. But I'll put them all out here now, but they won't be far off ready for going out actually, so they'll be ready to go out in about a week or two. But like I said, far better than the last year. And then these are my spring onions. They're ready to go out now in the little clumps of about 6 or 8. So onion wise, everything's doing pretty well. Lettuces I only sowed the start of this month, so they've only been sowed 3 weeks, but looking quite healthy. I've pricked them all out, so we thinned them all out to 1 per module, so there should be, I would say, another 2 or 3 weeks and they should be ready to go out. And then my tomatoes, which have been growing under the lights as well, these are just the little tumbling tomato types. So I've got how many have we got of those? 8 of those. They just produce small cherry tomatoes, but doing alright, looking healthy enough. Even with this rubbish compost I've been using, if you can see, look at that. It's this stuff that's just full of wood, but it doesn't matter what it is, if stuff grows well then it's fine. And then the potatoes, the first earlies in pots that I've planted a few, well, I think they were probably planted in March, dead early. Doing really well. They always do get a little bit leggy when they're in the heat, so I've put some canes up. I'm going to tie some string around, as you can see, just to keep the leaves more upright. And what I must remember to do is get some of those things to put on the top, so when I put them on the floor I don't bend down and poke my eye out, because I did that once nearly and I nearly took my eye out, so I must go and get something to protect those. And then finally in here we've got the peas. It's 2 different sorts. There's the Hearst green shaft, which are the more advanced ones, and then we've got some meteor, which are the little dwarf ones, which are growing slower, but that's presumably because they are a dwarf variety. They're not going to be as vigorous. They're in the gutters, they're ready to go out now. I would plant them out now, but it's that windy at the moment, they'll probably just get absolutely flattened, so they're not taking any harm in here, in this polytunnel. So I'll probably grow them on for another week, or until the weather calms down a bit wind-wise. But anyway, that's what's going on in the polytunnel at the moment. Pretty pleased with everything. Everything's looking pretty healthy. No pests, no diseases or anything. And everything looking alright. So we'll nip up to the plot now. I'll just show you what's going on up there. I've been preparing my polytunnel to put the cover on, so that should be going on soon. And I've been doing a lot of work up there, so we'll nip up there and have a quick look. Alright folks, here we are up at the plot. It's blowing an absolute gale. I'll just show you what I've been up to. I've put up a really substantial pea frame now. I've used these big metal poles now instead of bamboo canes, so that should stay up forever now, because all I was doing was just buying more bamboo canes every year because they just kept snapping or rotting away. So yeah, I've got all my bed now completely covered in mulch, so everything's doing well. Onions are coming up, not too many misfires there. Garlic's all up well now. As you can see, it's all blowing about though. Oh crikey, that was a big gust. So yeah, I think I've got 99% germination. There's just one there missing, and that really bugs me. But anyway, I should learn to get over it. So like I said, I've been getting all the polytunnel ready to put the cover on now, as you can see. So I've been digging the trenches out again. I'm digging some new trenches. Cracky, it's windy. So as you can see, I've dug the trenches out. I've had to shorten these beds in order to get a clear line for the polythene. But what that's meant is that when I've chopped them down a bit, I've filled them right to the top now with soil, with the spare that I've chopped out. So the raised beds have never been bigger, never been deeper. So there's like 2 foot of soil in those now. So yeah, it's all been good. As you can see, all the cross braces, like these things, I've had to take it to bits basically from down there to use all the brackets and stuff. Use the old door frame as well. Sawed it off, concreted some posts in, put a big coach bolt through it, so it's all rock solid now. So it's just a matter, because everything's dug out, of getting the old cover on. So that's that done. Just need to get some milder weather, some like less windy weather. And I started filling all this back in now. This is where it was all trenched out when I was going to put the cover on the whole polytunnel. So I've started tidying this up a bit. I've got it all filled back in. So I'm going to put some weed membrane down on there, so it tidies it up a bit. And I can put a nice walkway in, so that should be good. The old rhubarb is coming up well now. I've given it a little bit of feed, bit of high nitrogen feed. So we'll see how we get on with that. Gooseberries, I think they've been pollinated, because there seems to be lots of little flowers on, little fruits. Like last year I didn't get any, because when they got to about this stage we had a hard frost and all the little tiny ones just dropped off. So I got about 6 gooseberries off 3 bushes. So hopefully this year it should be a little bit better. So the frog spawn didn't survive, I'm afraid. So there's no tadpoles in there this year. I must go and get some from somewhere, because we had a lot of hard frosts after that, and I think it just froze it to death, to be honest. I've not seen anything of the newts or anything like that, but there's plenty of other bits of wildlife flapping about in there. And then finally in this bit, again I've covered everything in some more mulch. See how windy it is. Like these are my flags I put in to try and scare the pheasant off that keeps nesting. Well, I'll just show you, I can just see one of its nests now. And this is the old square yard gardening thing where I planted about 80 onions. I've put this on because the pheasant kept digging him up. So once they get a little bit bigger I can remove this cage. I'll show you what the pheasant does. It just goes everywhere and makes a big dimp like that and sits in it. I've not seen it yet, but it can do it anywhere, in the middle of your garden, in the middle of your onions, you name it. Just makes a little impression and sits in it. So it's quite annoying, but anyway, it's not the end of the world. Yep, so there we go folks, that's the old polytunnel prepped, ready to be covered. Put all the anti-hot spot tape on, that's the white stuff you can see. And hopefully when it's all done, I should be getting it done within the next week or two. I can tidy all this up, everything around here, and make it all neat and tidy, because for 2 years it's just been a right mess. And to be honest, it was been really getting me down, because, alright, I'm not the tidiest gardener, but I'm not into looking at big piles of rubbish everywhere. So anyway, that's about it folks. I'll get the tunnel on in the next week or two hopefully, and then we'll have another look at it and see what we're going inside it. Anyway, that's about it folks. See you later.